Morning, class ninth. Last time when your classes were running, then we have started our first chapter, that is cell, the fundamental unit of life. In this chapter, I told you about the cell, the basic structure, what is plasma membrane, what is nucleus, what is cytoplasm, and what are different things which are present inside the cytoplasm. And these tiny structures are basically known as cell organelle. I have decided to choose the first structure, that is this one, which is known as mitochondria. And let us see in detail what is the structure and how does it work, and what are the structures which compose the mitochondria. So basically this is mitochondria which is present in all the eukaryotic cells, means plant and animal cell. In both the cells mitochondria is present. And this cell organelle looks like this. You can see it has two boundaries. That is, it is a double membraned organelle. Okay, membrane, this is the outermost covering. So this cell organelle is actually is composed of two membranes, the outer membrane and the inner membrane. Okay, now let us see the structure in detail. So this is mitochondria, and you can see these are different structures present in the mitochondria. This is the outermost boundary. You can see this purple colored. This is the outer membrane. Okay, this outer membrane is basically semi permeable in nature. So it has some hole like structures which allows the movement of ions and minerals inside the mitochondria. And the mitochondria has inner membrane also. You can see this one, inner membrane. This inner membrane is basically has some foldings, some finger like foldings. You can see these finger like foldings. Okay, these finger like foldings are known as cristae. Okay, these cristae are basically these are the structures and which are helpful in the cellular respiration. Okay, this you will study in higher classes, what is cellular respiration and what are the functions of cristae, and what are different enzymes involved in this function, in this process. So basically these are the cristae, or the finger like projections, which are present in the mitochondria. Its inner membrane is like this. So basically this inner membrane has these structures. You can see these are the structures. Okay, these are known as cristae, and inside the cristae some these kind of structures are present. Okay, these club shaped structures are present. These structures are known as oxysomes. Okay, these are basically the structures which are helpful in the respiration. Basically respiration is the process of breaking down food in the presence of oxygen to release energy. So this structure is basically, these are the units of respiration which provide some enzymes to carry out this reaction. Okay, now you will see that there is a matrix is basically the a kind of semi solid fluid, you can say, which is present inside this mitochondria. This fluid is basically it is basically the site of all the metabolic activities which are going to be carried out inside this one. Okay, and this mitochondria is having its own DNA and protein. These granules, you can see, ribosomes and DNA. Okay, DNA is basically a self means and this is helpful in replicating the mitochondria. Means mitochondria can create its own copies. Okay, because DNA is present, protein ribosomes are present, so protein is also present. So when protein and DNA both are present, so it can divide itself and it can produce its copies also. Okay, so it is a self replicating organelle. Okay, means it can create its own copies, this mitochondria. Okay, so it has DNA, its own DNA other than nucleus has DNA, and other than that mitochondria has DNA. And ribosomes are scattered in the matrix, and function of ribosome is same as in other cases, it synthesizes the protein. Okay, and these are granules. These can be the protein granules, these can be the lipids granules. These are the granules means the means round shaped structures. Okay, so this is basically a structure of mitochondria. And you will see there is one more thing, this is intermembrane space, means this outer membrane and the inner membrane. Okay, between these, there is a space which is known as intermembrane space. It is also filled with the cytosol. Okay, so this is the structure. Okay, now this mitochondria is known as powerhouse of the cell. Powerhouse of the cell. Why it is known as powerhouse? Because it produces the energy. As I told you, it takes parts in the cellular respiration. Main function of mitochondria is to produce energy. Okay, it produces the energy and stores it in the form of ATP. Okay, I'll discuss with you in detail uh, here. So function of mitochondria is to produce the energy in the form of ATP. It is a kind of compound which is known as adenosine triphosphate. Full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate. It is also known as energy currency. Okay, currency, as you know, if you are going to buy anything, if you are going to have any work, then you need a currency. In the same manner, if any activity is going on inside the cell, then that activity can only be done with the when the ATPs are used. These are basically, these are spent. So these ATPs are produced inside the mitochondria by the process of respiration, and these ATPs are used by different cell organelles inside the cytoplasm, inside the nucleus. Wherever any activity is going to happen, then these ATPs are used there. That is why these are known as energy currency. Okay, and now you know why it is known as powerhouse, because it produces the energy in the form of ATP, and it also stores the energy in the form of ATP. That is why it is known as powerhouse, like the powerhouse, power station, from where the electricity comes in your house. So it is in the same manner it is functioning. Okay, so this is the it is taking part in the cellular respiration. Now this part I am just giving you an overview, because it is not in your course, and it is not in your it is not according to your level, but I am just giving you an overview so that you will be able to understand what I am talking about, what is cellular respiration and all. So basically the function of mitochondria is cellular respiration. Basically there are two respirations. Okay, one is the external one, that is breathing, and second one is the cellular respiration, which occurs inside the cell. Okay, so cellular respiration occurs inside the mitochondria. Now you see there is a glucose C6H12O6 which comes into the mitochondria, mitochondria. Okay, as I told you, this outer membrane is semi permeable. Then this glucose, this is oxidized. First of all, it is converted into pyruvate. Pyruvate is a kind of and it is a kind of compound. Okay, so this glucose is converted into pyruvate in the presence of oxygen, and this reaction occurs in the cytoplasm. Okay, in the cytoplasm this reaction occurs in the presence of oxygen. This is in detail, we will discuss this in class 10th. Then this pyruvate gets converted into acetyl coenzyme A, then there is a TCA cycle, then this goes into an electron transport chain, then finally these some energy compounds are formed like NADH and FADH2, that is nicotinamide adenine diphosphate, that is in reducing form, or ferredoxin. Okay, these are some of the or compounds which are formed here, and then finally these are traveled, or these are converted into electron transport chain, and then finally ATP is formed. These ATP, when these are formed, then one more thing is happening. Carbon dioxide is released and water vapors are also released. This complete process is known as respiration, and basically it is a cellular respiration where glucose molecules are divided or converted into energy rich compounds, that is ATP, carbon dioxide and water vapors. Okay, so this is the function of mitochondria to take part in the respiration, cellular respiration. It breaks down the glucose molecule. So what we have learned, let's recap it. So this is the cell, this is the animal cell. Okay, and these are the structures, that is mitochondria. Okay, these mitochondria has double membrane structure. Their outer membrane is smooth, but it is semi permeable. It allows the movement of the molecules, and it has inner membrane which is having some finger like projections. These are known as cristae, and on the cristae there are some club shaped structures which are known as oxysomes. The inside the cristae there is space which is filled with the fluid which is known as matrix. Okay, it has its DNA and ribosomes and some other granules. It is a self autonomous structure, means it can produce its own copies because DNA and protein is present here. Okay, it is also known as powerhouse of the cell. Its function is to produce energy in the form of ATP by breaking down the glucose molecule and releasing water vapor and carbon dioxide. Okay, so this is mitochondria, the first cell organelle I discussed with you. Now tomorrow I'll discuss with you the structure of plastids. Okay, thank you class.